Roman numeral 9, Frankfurt and Berlin, the question of a liberal Germany. All right, Frankfurt and Berlin, the German states, obstacles to unification. Well, the 39 states don't want to be unified. They like having sovereignty and being able to decide things for themselves, especially the smaller states. They don't want to be united. The Junkers are also not particularly impressed with the idea of losing their power and control. The Junkers, you remember, spelled Junker, but Junker is, they are the German nobility, basically, or the Prussian nobility, more accurately. The Prussians and the Austrians are the ones who really want unity because they want to control all of the other groups. Partially, this is due to the fact that Prussia is seen as sort of the hillbillies of Germany, and so as a result, they want to prove to everybody they can do it by exercising authority. German dualism. The balance between Berlin and Vienna was not a problem during Napoleon's time period, but now that Vienna is slowly falling apart, it's a liability. So the people of Germany are now looking more to Berlin, and of course, again, Prussia. Berlin, failure of revolution in Prussia. Politically, Prussia is very mixed. It's an absolute monarchy where the king refuses to make a constitution, but there are many liberal changes, such as literacy and public education. Radical assemblies. The public revolts against the king, though, and demands assemblies. Weirdly, Frederick William IV agreed to this plan. These assemblies were backed primarily by Russian and Polish forces, so Frederick William lets them exist, but the Russians and the Polish are the ones pulling strings. When they go too far, the king disbands them and orders the army to smash any rebellions that might pop up. The Frankfurt Assembly is elected by people throughout Germany, mostly liberal, but they have no power nor any expectations of power. They need the state to do anything, so they have to get the king to go along with their plans. But they're also trying to overthrow the state, which is a small problem. So you see how this sort of works? They've elected people who have no power, who need the king to have power, but their stated purpose is to get rid of the king. So it's basically an exercise in futility. They are nonviolent, mostly upper-class, boring people. Under an untimely revolution, though, the public can't wait. They start to riot. When the Frankfurt Assembly can't get anything done, they start to get, riots and get angry and so forth, which is not what the Assembly wanted. The Assembly wanted a nice, peaceful revolution, not bloody revolution. And so they turn around and ask the army to shoot their own supporters. Under questions of territory, what you're looking for here is what exactly is Germany? There are the big Germans that say Austria is part of Germany, and the little Germans that say Austria is not part of Germany. Guess which side wins, seeing as how Austria becomes its own country. Dependence on Austrian-Prussian armies, but all the minorities in Germany are making too much noise, so the Assembly wants the army to put them under control, which would be cool if it wasn't also talking about throwing Austria out of the group, because again, the Austrian army is one of the main forces behind the Assembly. Under the failures of the Frankfurt Assembly, Frederick William tempted. The Assembly creates the Declaration of the Rights of Germans. It kicks Austria out of Germany, among other things. It's not the most radical document ever, but it is significant. Frederick William likes this idea, but he doesn't want to have to fight Austria and everyone else. Nor does he like the idea of being offered a new crown with so many limitations. He refers to this as a crown from the gutter. In other words, he is not going to become the king with all these rules in place when he can just be an absolute monarch. He doesn't really understand why he would want that. That, and again, this proposal, because it gets rid of Austria, would force him to also go to war with Austria, which he has no interest in doing. Under the favor of liberal nationalism, since most members were not violent radicals, they just said to hell with it and went home when Frederick William refuses. Some urged revolution, but the army punches them in the face. Many Germans end up leaving and coming to the U.S., sparking a massive emigration push in the 1880s, and 1850s and so forth. Frederick William makes his own constitution with blackjack and hookers. Montilus, I hope you get that reference, maybe somebody else. But in any case, Frederick William makes his own constitution instead. This is the Prussian Constitution of 1850. All in all, it's a very progressive piece. It's not radical, but it's much more progressive than what the French or the English had really done up until that point. Under the voting power of the landowners, they get special powers, which is how he keeps them under control, such as the fact that they get to pick 1/3 of Parliament just by themselves. Finally, we get to Roman numeral 10, the toughness of the mind. I'm pretty sure that's the last one. Oh, wait, no, there's one more, Bonapartism. So, 2 more. Roman numeral 10 next.